Hello and welcome to another session of the book club on Be a Plant-Based Woman Warrior. Um, Today I want to at least start, I don't know if we'll finish it, chapter 3. I think chapter 3 is really good because it's very practical, and I thought it would be fun to go over it together. I don't know if you have a pencil nearby. But if you do, we could check some of these boxes. I'm on page, well, first of all, let me read the main this here. Okay, this is page 45. What's best to have in the fridge? Okay, well, what is best? A whole produce stand. Yes, we aim for always having a colorful variety of fresh greens, vegetables, fruit, berries, and mushrooms. I mean, it would be too much to move my computer because it's wired and to move it. But if I show you my refrigerator, that's what it is. It's I always have different vegetables and I have different greens and I have fruits and mushrooms always. Okay, so the best produce for you is the produce that you will eat. That's very true. Okay, nothing against being adventurous, which it's nice to do, and it's every now and then try a new vegetable that you haven't tried before or a new fruit. But it's perfectly fine if you don't like kale. It's fine if you don't like collard greens. You know, there are so many to choose from. So choose. It's important that we have in our house the things that we like to eat, obviously. Okay, so on page 46, it says pantry and fridge staples. So I'm going to tell you what I have. Okay. Later, if you want to tell me what you have, I'm going to tell you what I have on a regular basis. Some of the other stuff here I have sometimes. So the first box is checked for sure. I have oats. Now, nowadays, I only buy oat groats. So this is my little container. And oat groats is the oats as if they come out of the plant. It looks it looks like brown rice, okay? It hasn't been cut, it hasn't been sliced, it hasn't been pre-cooked. This is the oat groats. And I make my own steel cut oats, okay? So what I do, instead of buying two different kinds, I just buy this. Most of the time I eat this. So I just put a cup or two of this in the high-speed blender, or you could even put it in those coffee grinders, and you can make your own steel cut oats. Okay, so that is there. And from time to time, I have regular rolled oats, but it just don't buy much of that. No, not that it's not good. Please don't misunderstand me. If you love rolled oats, old fashioned, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so that I have. Brown rice, I have. I always have some kind of rice. Have brown rice. I have brown rice and basmati rice. I love basmati rice, and I can get basmati rice in both ways. I can get brown basmati rice or white basmati rice. So now I'm getting brown for both of them. And every now and then I'll try a different kind of rice. So rice is also here. Black rice, I don't, and I need to start using it because it's one of those things that I just haven't done it. So I'm going to start doing, but I don't have black rice. Quinoa, I have on occasion. It's not something that I have all the time, but I like quinoa, and there are different kinds of quinoa. Quinoa, definitely, I have to eat it with other starchy foods because it doesn't quite fill me up. The thing that fills me up the most is sweet potatoes. Today I had one at about 4, I think it was. No, maybe it was earlier, like, yeah, it was about 4 p.m. And I'm always, I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years, but it always surprises me how filling a roasted, and this was a medium size, kind of small, but I ate that and it was so sweet and amazing. And I was just, I felt like I had eaten a whole meal. So anyway, quinoa, I didn't check it because I have it on and off. Farro, I've never had it. Okay. And so some of these things here, this page has reminded me that I need to get out there, be a little adventurous, and try some new things. So I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Polenta, grits, cornmeal. Yes, I check that because usually it's in my kitchen. Okay. Barley, I've used it, but I don't have it regularly. And then, of course, sweet potatoes, almost any day of the week, you're going to find sweet potatoes here, and potatoes, whether they're Yukon Gold or just other varieties, red or, yeah, any others. And then the tiny new potatoes also. I don't have that all the time. I buy them every now and then. Then the next one, which is whole grain pastas and noodles, whole wheat, brown rice, black rice, ramen, lentil pasta, garbanzo pasta. I didn't check that box because I don't have it on a regular basis. I don't keep it, but I do use it. The other day, last week, I did make some brown rice pasta. Okay, the next one, it says whole grain bread with no oil or added sugar. And then it says we prefer Ezekiel for now. Yeah, that's the best. But then it gives you other brands. Okay. And that's something that I have sometimes. I mean, it's not always, but I do. And when I do, I freeze it. Okay. So that it's not easily available, but um, I do have some sometimes. Canned and dried beans. I don't have canned anymore. I just got in the habit of making my own beans while I'm running around in the house or in the yard. It doesn't take much time really. But that's something that is very convenient. If you don't want to cook your own beans, you can just buy canned. So canned and dry beans. I have black beans, garbanzo bean, kidney, cannellini, red beans, lima beans, navy. The one I don't have here is pinto. I can't get pinto beans easily here. All right, so that I have. The next one says whole grain flours. I don't keep flours. If I'm going to make something like I made this week, the muffins, I go and I buy just the right amount that the recipe asks for, but you're not going to, see a lot of containers in my kitchen with different kinds of flours. Shelf stable silken tofu. Okay, that's a for sure no, mostly because I don't really like tofu. But so that I never have. Maybe a couple of times I've tried. I used to make Chef AJ's disappearing lasagna, and that had tofu. That was it mimicked the ricotta cheese very well. So I've used it, but I don't eat tofu. And what about nuts? I have sometimes I do have walnuts and cashews, but they are there usually for long periods of times because I use them for very, I don't know, specific recipes. And sometimes I may throw in a few walnuts in a salad, but nuts. Okay. The other one is seeds. Yes, that one is for sure. I have chia seeds and flax seeds. And then I don't have any other. Okay. Raisins. Sometimes I have raisins. Every now and then I feel like putting some raisins in the oatmeal. Dates, I try to keep them. Yeah, I try to keep dates because sometimes if I want to put a couple of them in the oatmeal, I do that. And every now and then, if I don't know, I don't have sweet potatoes, and all of a sudden I get this urge to have something sweet. Just a couple of dates are so sweet to me that it just does the trick, and I'm done with my sweet tooth. Okay. Dairy-free chocolate chips, I don't keep in the house. Vegetable broth, I don't have. I just use water. I'm kind of lazy to do it. I know that it doesn't take a lot of time, but I haven't gotten, and I don't trust the boxed types that they sell in the store. Tahini, I don't have. I know that it can make the hummus creamy, but it also know that it can add a lot of fat, which I don't need. That doesn't mean that you don't have to have it. Nut butters, no, don't have that. Oat milk, or no, I make my own almond milk, and that I make almond milk. I make oat milk sometimes. I don't have soy milk. I really don't like the taste. And then baking powder, yes, I have that, and I buy a brand that has no aluminum, but I do have it, and it's seldom used, but I have it. Okay. By the way, Dr. Greger put out a video today about ground flax seeds and how it can lower blood pressure. Oh, good. Okay, I'm gonna go and look for it. Thank you for telling me. Okay. I wanted to show you this also because the other day I went to the store that sells everything in bulk, and I bought um, white corn. I don't know if you could see that. White corn or maize blanco, okay, white corn. And I just put a cup of this just now in water to soak all night. And then I throw away that water, I put new water, and I cook it slowly. And that's called mazamorra in Argentina and other countries. And it is one of the most delicious things that you will try. I think I mentioned it in another video. We used to have it when I was little for dessert, and you just cook it with water. And then when I was little, all you had to do was add a little bit of sugar, and that was it. It's very tasty. It doesn't need anything. But the other week when I made it, I put a little bit of cinnamon. You can also put a little bit of lemon, and you can sweeten it with dates or bananas or something. It's great. And I had forgotten about that. It's probably been more than 40 years since I have had that. Okay, that tells you how old I am. I'm going to be 60 years old in January, 60. So somehow gotta, you know, uh, celebrate that. Do you make salad dressings? No, since I found California balsamic vinegars, I've become kind of addicted to those, and I don't. But every now and then I do. Okay, and I will make some salad dressings from this book. I have a really good ranch dressing that is unbelievable. You cannot tell that it's not milk or cream. It does have cashews, so it's a little, you have to be careful. It's kind of addictive. You almost want to just drink it, but it's very good. So so sometimes I make salad dressings. Yeah, but right, but now I'm going with the California balsamic, which is also mentioned here someplace. So spices on page 47. Okay, spices. Well, this is for us plant-based people. Okay, our food needs to taste good. It tastes good on its own because we're eating such variety of colors and flavors and textures. And as your taste buds get detoxified and reset, like we do in the program that I run, then you really start tasting. You taste that zucchini. You taste different shades of sweetness, and you taste the spinach. You really start to taste it. But regardless, it's good to have spices. And if I showed you my cupboard there, it looks like a supermarket because I've been collecting here and there, and I have a lot of different ones, and it really makes a difference. So I think it's important, like it says here, sometimes try new spices, and that's why I know it's kind of a um, dorky kind of thing to do. But I mean, I like to walk down the aisle in a supermarket where the spices are and look at bottles and see if I see one that I haven't tried it or that sounds strange, and I'll just buy it. But so try new ones. But I have a lot of most of the ones that are listed here. I have. So I'm just going to tell you the ones that I don't have here. I don't have mint extract. I really, that's very specific. I don't, maybe for some muffins or breads or something. What else? I don't have crystallized ginger, although they sell it, but and I've bought it once or twice, but just to eat a little bite, just to calm down if I want to eat something sweet. But I don't have it really. Miso, I don't have it. I've bought it before, and then I used a little tablespoon here, and then 6 months later I use another little tablespoon, and so I'm afraid that it'll go bad, so I just don't have it. And I don't at today I don't have tamari sauce, although I want to go and buy some because it's a lot of less sodium than other things. And barbecue sauce I don't have because I really cannot find one that is corn syrup, the high fructose corn syrup free. Chef AJ has a really good recipe in her book for barbecue sauce. Again, I don't use it enough to go through the trouble. Ketchup, I do have, but I don't use it a lot, but I do have it. It does have, unfortunately, they put some sugar in it, so that's why I don't eat it often. And if I do, it's just a condiment, so it's a little bit. Mustard I have, and I like real Dijon mustard. That's what I like. So I have that. And I have hot sauce. I'm not too much into hot sauces, but I have which is it? Well, I have one I can't. Well, the regular Mexican sauce is salsa. It's good, but anyway, there's one in the refrigerator there. And I do have some maple syrup now because I've been making recipes from the book that call for it. Otherwise, I usually don't. And that's it. So I have most of the things in that page. High quality vinegars. Maybe maybe like me, you haven't explored this. It took me several years actually to get around and just go look at the websites and order some. But you have Olive Tap is a company. Olive Scene is another one. That doesn't mean that you have to buy the olive oil, you know. And then California Balsamic, okay. Um, the California Balsamic, there are so many. Um, well, actually, the one that they list here, the curry balsamic, is one of my favorite. The teriyaki is another favorite. The Italian herbs is another. Then they have the chocolate one, which I don't use much, but but sometimes I use it on to drizzle on strawberries or bananas or even a little bit on a sweet potato if I want that little bit of chocolate taste. Um, I have last time I bought the package that came with all of them in small bottles, so I'm just trying different ones. There's a peach one, there's a pear one, there's oh, there's a black garlic, I think. Another one. There's just so many. Um, I don't know if I have a favorite. Um, every day I just try different ones. Okay, so give it a try because those are good ways to. And when you combine the balsamic vinegar with fresh lime juice or fresh lemon juice, one of my easy ones that I think is listed here in the book is the 3-2-1. And that is 3 tablespoons of something acid like vinegar or lemon juice, um, 2 tablespoons of mustard, and then one of something a little more sweet. It could be um, uh, it could be the syrup, okay, or it could be like um, I use the juice of peaches, for example, from a can, but not syrup, just juice, and that's 1 tablespoon. So and you shake that, and that's a salad dressing, okay. But it could be a little bit of maple syrup if you wanted to do that. Okay, so I'm. Do you have any comments about any of these things that you have or that you in your kitchen or that you've tried and you don't like or that you've tried and you like any questions about any of this combinations like or what things you use the most? I can tell you what things I use the most. Chris says my favorite balsamic is the olive tap barbecue vinegar. Oh yeah, okay.
We tried the raspberry flame and it was so hot. And my husband loves heat, but boy, this was really hot if you haven't tried it. And the cucumber, I think it's cool cucumber or something. That's really good too. It's good on salad.
Hmm.
And that's all I can think of right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. Now that you say that, there is a sweet spice something in also that I have that is really good, and there's a cilantro something. So there's so many. Um, I let's see. Are you bringing what? Okay. Oh yeah. What's the name of that one?
That's crisp cucumber balsamic. It's
Okay.
really good. And that's a
Okay.
sample, so you can, that size if you like it.
Yeah,
Try
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I haven't tried that one. Okay. Oh yeah, Sweet Heat by California Balsamic is really good. Yeah. And let's see who says that here. Sophie says, this year I started growing fresh herbs. Yeah. Oh, if you haven't done this yet, try it. You can easily do it in any little container. There's nothing like really fresh herbs. And I want to encourage you, if you have any little piece of land, or even you can plant them in planters. When you plant when you grow your own vegetables, not only is it just rewarding to see it, but the taste. I've been doing that more and more now that I am not in a big city with just concrete, and so I'm in the mountains and I have a room, and I, it's relaxing also to just go and water it or get some weeds out and just see. And then when you go to cut, your spinach or whatever it is, or your kale, it's just so neat to do that. So I think we forget sometimes that we just, well, we're in a rush all the time and we're used to going to the supermarket and getting it. But there's something to be said about growing your own food. Well, talking about food, let me show you today, because having um, having marinara sauce is one thing that you want to have, if possible. You want to have it all the time. You can quickly make so many things when you have marinara sauce, and it freezes great. I put it in freezer bags in the freezer, and then I keep some in the refrigerator to use. But I mean, um, for example, I cook chickpeas. Well, chickpeas with marinara sauce and some oregano are amazing. Okay. Of course, then you can make any kind of pasta with even if it is zucchini noodles, let's say. You can have that. Then you can also use the tomato sauce in soups and stews. If you make mashed potatoes, you can put the big, I make a volcano. Okay, you put the mashed potatoes on your plate, you put a hole, and you put some marinara sauce in there, and it tastes great. I mean, it just goes with so many things. If you make pizza, like those pizzas that I made a couple of months ago using polenta or potatoes to make the dough, then you put it there. So I love to have marinara sauce if available all the time. So let me show you. This is very easy. Let me tell you in what page it is. And there is something interesting here. This is on page 84. I remember my grandmother always adding a little bit, like a teaspoon, or depending on the amount, sometimes more than a teaspoon of sugar, and to the tomato sauce to cut the acidity, because sometimes depending on the tomatoes you're using, it can be really acid. But in this case here, this original marinara says to use maple syrup, but I went ahead and I used um, the two large dates, okay, which I pureed. And of course, you cannot taste it in the sauce, but if they weren't there, you probably could tell that there is something different. And it is that it's not so um, acid. Yeah, so it just makes it smoother. Okay, so Helen says yesterday's muffins, to make them savory, maybe a can of no salt, roto tomato and jalapeno with the sweet corn. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Jalapeno. That I will do. okay? Because now that has stayed in my mind that I have to see how these muffins will come out savory. So at some point I will make that. If you have any other ideas, send them my way. Okay, so let me show you. So in for this is what you need. It's very easy. It didn't take me took me no time to make this, and it was very good. 1 cup of finely chopped onions, some garlic. I always put more than what the recipe calls for. Oregano, thyme, and basil, and then you want strained tomatoes and also finely chopped tomatoes. And then I didn't use salt, and I used the dates. Okay. I just, I had polenta left over from the other day, and I thought, hey, I got a meal already. And then all the other stuff, the asparagus and the Brussels sprouts and the cherry tomatoes were there, and so I just cooked them. It was a surprisingly delicious lunch. So let's see. I see that you use a plastic kettle. I have learned that it is safer to use a glass. Yeah, yeah. I am in the process of changing all of my cookware, and I do next week or the following week. I want to do. I've been studying a lot about this, and I want to share with you some of the issues that we have with chemicals leaking out of our cookware. But let's leave that for later. I always sub date syrup, just dates and water for maple syrup. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Very good. Um, Now here comes another surprise. This was a something that I made. This one is even shorter because it takes almost no time to make. But I want to show you to finish our session today. This is on page 79. It's called Tangy Lime and Sweet Corn Sauce. And in my mind, I had pictured it differently. And in my taste, I had pictured, I mean, it came out nothing like I'd expected, but it was amazing. So I want to show you this one. Okay. Well, that surprised me, kind of like the muffins, because I read it quickly and I skipped the part where it says that I had to heat it up and cook it. And so it was uh it was great. Give it a try if you have. I think it really matters if you use fresh corn, um, because while you're taking off the cob, you get the juice also out, which in the frozen you don't really get. So I think it matters. Not that you couldn't do it the other way, but remember that the next book that I will be featuring is America Goes Vegan. Glenn Mercer has a really good sense of humor, very witty, sometimes dry sense of humor, but he writes beautifully. He's a great writer, and this is a book that I really think we should all read. That's in my opinion. He gives us so many little gold nuggets of information. So that's what I'm gonna do. Next, I always sub days. Okay, and what about fried roasted corn? Well, yes, whenever I can get that, that would be great. And if I could, uh, you know, do my own fire roasted corn, which is not going to happen, but that would be very yummy. Yeah. Any questions? Any comments? No? Okay. Well, again,
What was the name of that book again?
this book is called America Goes Vegan.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, Chris says, I'm hungry now. Well, yes, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't show you food at this time of night, but it will keep us. It's an exercise on strength. Yeah, the kitchen is closed, right? Kitchen's closed. Well, very good. I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully. And yeah, thanks for being here with me and accompanying me.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Bye
Night.
bye.